Now for a minute while I open this up and hope it won't die. I'd like to begin by saying a very sincere thanks to the organising committee. Firstly, for organising the commemoration today, and secondly, for giving me the great honour of opening today's event. This commemoration is hugely important, and it is vital that it take place. A couple of months ago, I said I was going to organise today's event, and due to ill health, I had to pull out. And I'd like to thank very sincerely Carmel, Christy, Martin, Rose and Tom for all the hard work they put in ensuring this commemoration take place. When I arrive at Bessborough, the first thing I notice is the beautiful lawns. Thanks to the testimony of the late June Goulding, who was a midwife here in the 1950s, I know that my mother and other mothers, heavily pregnant, had to pluck the grass of those lawns on their hands and knees. Everywhere you look, there are reminders of trauma. Most chilling of all, I think, is that under our feet lie dead babies. These are babies who never got the opportunity to live. Many of them would have been born at the time when I was in Bessborough with my dear cribmates Carmel Hayes, Jackie and Anne. Myself and Carmel have spoken about this and realised that we were two of the more fortunate. We got to have a life. When we gathered at the gates last year, I was asked by many what we wanted to happen. The answer is still the same. We want to know how the babies died, why they died, how they were buried, and where. The very least the babies who got no chance at life deserve is that these questions are answered. And it's up to those of us who survived to insist that the truth is told. When you read figures and numbers, it is sometimes easy to forget the human suffering within the figures. I want to pay tribute here today to a woman who introduced me to a baby boy who I will carry forever in my heart. The baby boy's name was William. He was born in Bessborough a year before I was, and he was allowed to die without getting the medical attention he needed, despite the pleadings of his mother. Hearing what happened to William and to his mother drove me and others to the gates of Bessborough last year. I salute you, Madeline, for telling us your harrowing story. Having heard yourself and Dee telling of what you suffered here in Bessborough is what brought me and others like me to the gates of Bessborough and demand that what happened here be investigated. My own mother never got the opportunity to tell me what she suffered here, but I know she never recovered from it. I never really knew what she must have suffered until I heard what Madeline and Dee told of the horrors that happened here. My sister Hannah and I are very grateful for being given that understanding and connection to our mother. Another mother we owe a tremendous debt to is Marion Kelly. Marion was the first mother from Bessborough to publicly tell her story. It became national and international news and played a huge contribution, I believe, in the establishment of an inquiry. Thank you, Marion, for your heroic courage. Your speaking out gave others the courage to publicly break their silence. I salute them, and I salute all of the mothers who have suffered so much. I had the great privilege of accompanying Terry Harrison when she made the brave decision to tell the world what happened to her here in Bessborough. I want to pay tribute to you, Terry, for your great bravery and for the fantastic work you are doing with Mothers of Loss. You are giving so much support and making so much difference to those women, many of whom have no other support. You are indeed a beacon of light. The words, "Darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that," comes to mind. Support brings me to the final point I want to make here today. At the gates of Bessborough last year, I stressed that support would be necessary for everyone who survived the mother and baby institutions. For the past year, myself and others in our community have been calling on the government to set up specialised counselling support for all affected. At the release of the terms of reference of the inquiry in January, I asked the Minister about providing this support, and he promised he would look into it. We are still waiting. I have written letters to the Minister outlining the urgency of the need for support and giving him very concrete evidence of the need for this support. My letters have gone unanswered. The website for the inquiry is now up and running, inviting submissions. There is a great danger that a person giving a submission who relives the trauma of their past will become re-traumatised. Without support, I believe this is inevitable. If this is allowed to happen, I predict there will be very tragic consequences. I am calling on the government to put in place specialised counselling support immediately. If the government is really serious about supporting survivors, they will act immediately to put this in place. It's been done before for survivors of institutional abuse. The template is there. If the will is there, it could be done tomorrow. Let the state now show it's taking its responsibility to the survivors seriously. Before I finish, I'd like to mention a very special man who cannot be here today. His name is John Barrett. John was born here and has very powerful evidence to give here about Bessborough, as he was here until he was 5 years of age. John has been in hospital since last October fighting for his life, but I'm glad to say John is very much on the road to recovery, and he rang me yesterday to send his good wishes to the gathering today. I'd like to finish with a few words from Anthony Devaney. We who remain. We are indeed the lucky and unlucky ones, as we are the ones who have lived to tell the tales of those we once knew. We are the ones who carry those scars of things seen, done, and lost. We are the ones who must never let those who are not here be forgotten by the new. We are the ones who will never need to be reminded that we will remember them, as we are the ones who will always remember those we forever call friend, sister, brother, son, daughter. Thank you.